we certainly are blessed to have Deputy President Paul Mashatile, His Excellency, to be present with us here today. May we please give our distinguished guests a round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ndumi Sokbega. I serve as the CEO of the National Youth Development Agency, and it is a great pleasure for me to be program directing today's program, which is a program of young people in conversation with the presidency and, of course, the Deputy President of the Republic, Deputy President Paul Mashatile. Today, it's not going to be a formal program per se. It's going to be a program of young people engaging with the Deputy President here today. And with that being the case, it certainly gives me great pleasure to also introduce my co-partner who will be facilitating the conversation that we'll be having this afternoon, being Ms. Buhle Geleba, who will be moderating today's conversation as we have a conversation with the Deputy President of the country. But before we get started, may I kindly request, as I've done the opening, that we are properly welcomed by the leadership of the city, the mayor of the city, due again to the commitments around SONA. Unfortunately, would not be able to make it, but he has sent a representative who is the sub-council chairperson, Mr. Delmain Coutier, to welcome us officially to today's proceedings. Mr. Coutier, can we please give him a warm round of applause?
My apologies. You know, with technology, things are always glitches. Good morning, Moweni. Assalamu alaikum. Goeiemorgen. Is there people here in the house? Good morning. Moweni. Assalamu alaikum. Goeiemorgen. We can't welcome the Deputy President with such low key. Earlier there was some music and disco and everybody was dancing. Now we are quiet. Thank you, Program Director. Good morning, Moweni. Assalamu alaikum. Deputy President Paul Mashatile, Deputy Ministers and Ministers, City of Cape Town, Councillors, in particular Councillor Raidum Kotswana, Councillor Kabuza, Councillor Kaseka, community leaders, civil society, esteemed guests, all protocol observed. His Excellency, Deputy President of South Africa, it's a great honor for us to welcome you here and all of us to Khayelitsha. Your presence here today is a powerful message to the voices of young people in our township areas and also on the Cape Flats. Leadership begins by engaging directly with communities and stakeholders, in particular young people, on grassroots level. In Khayelitsha, where we are here today, Khayelitsha is a rich community, a resilient culture, untapped potential. It is a home of young people that dream boldly, face real challenges in our communities, yet we arise with encouragement and determination. And that determination, Deputy President, will see in the results of the Khayelitsha schools in Khayelitsha itself. The schools, I just want to highlight two schools. The two schools that achieved 99.5% pass rate last year, and also Joe Slovo Secondary School that achieved 96 pass rate, and also other 10 high schools that also achieved plus 90%. Today's gathering is a conversation, a moment of listening, and a moment of hope. We thank you for prioritizing youth development and also making the time to listen to our young people where we live, where we struggle, and where we dream and build. Your encouragement gives us hope to many, which often feels unseen and unheard. We thank you for making your time, and also the ministers and deputy ministers time for attending this particular event. So therefore we welcome you to the Presidential Youth Engagement in Khayelitsha, hosted by NYDA, Wamkilekile. I thank you. Welcome. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much to Mr. Kotier. Can we please give Mr. Kotier another warm round of applause? Ladies and gentlemen, we are also, it's not just us who are present here today. We have young people that are joining us virtually, young people in Northern Cape, Northwest, Free State, Eastern Cape, Gauteng, Limpopo, you name it, joining us virtually. And so they will also be interacting with us here today when the panel discussion happens. We're also, of course, joined by the board leadership of the National Youth Development Agency that are seated up front. We have Dr. Wiseman Mbata. Doc, can young people get to know you, please, with a hand? We have Mr. Sbusiso Makatini, is a board member as well. Can we please give him a warm round of applause? We have Ms. Tembi Mahua as well, who's a board member. Can we please give her a round of applause? I know Ms. Kelly Baloy and, of course, MX Busisiwe Ngumalo are also going to be here shortly. But to segue into the program, ladies and gentlemen, it would be amiss of me to not give the opportunity for the executive chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, Dr. Miende, to really advise us, why are we all here today? And to be able to do so, may I kindly request that we give a very warm welcome to the leader of young people, a Dr. PhD, not honorary, a warm welcome of applause. Can we please give her a warm one?
Ayeye abantu abasha ayeye. Ayeye abantu abasha ayeye. Uzoyithola kanjani? Uhlele khoneni. There's a new one DP that we're doing. We're saying uzoyithola kanjani ungaye esikoleni. Ne? Uzoyithola kanjani ungaye esikoleni. Thank you very much, Program Director Mr. Ndumiso Kubheka, His Excellency the Deputy President, Honorable Ministers and Deputy Ministers present, Members of Parliament, leaders from all youth political parties and civil society present, members of the NYDA board, the Deputy Chair and management, our partners and stakeholders, young people of South Africa, good afternoon and welcome to this particular engagement. On behalf of the National Youth Development Agency Board, I'm honored to welcome you to this presidential youth engagement hosted here in the Belly of Khayelitsha. Khayelitsha tells a powerful and honest story about our country, a story of struggle, but also a story of resilience, a story of constraint, but a story of creativity. This engagement holds a particular significance for us as the NYDA. For the agency, this is the single most important moment in the diary of the president and that of the deputy president, where he directly engages with us as young people and through us to understand our lived realities as young people. And for this, we really truly appreciate your presence, Deputy President. And we know that the President was not able to join us because he's championing our issues wherever he is. For that reason, Program Director, this engagement is substantive in its nature. It is a moment where all hands must be on deck, where youth development moves from policy to presence, and where ahead of the State of the Nation address, the voices and realities of young people are placed firmly at the center of the national attention. After all, us as young people, we are the majority in this country. So there can never be anything about us without us. We must influence the State of the Nation address. The President must be able to pronounce on issues that are going to speak directly to us as young people. This year's presidential youth engagement exists for one fundamental reason: to check in on freedom, not as an abstract ideal, but as a lived experience of young people. It is a space where young people can ask honestly and directly DP to say, are we still a priority as young people? Is freedom translating into opportunities? Are the promises of democracy reaching young people where they live, where they work, and try to build their livelihoods? And that is why, Mr. President, Mr. Deputy President, we are asking, and us as young people, we are calling and pronouncing this year to be the year of the youth. We are going to be very intentional and very vigorous in our approach to say that everything that is happening in the country this year must be about us, and we are not going to be apologetic about that. We are calling it the year of the youth because youth unemployment remains high. We are calling it the year of the youth because youth unemployment remains high. It is causing us sleepless nights as young people DP. As we're walking up, I was telling you that the young people in this room are saying, "Abaphangeli." So we need to be able to deal with those issues. And because we're unemployed, DP, our dignity is stripped off every day. If you're unemployed, you're not respected even during family gatherings, DP. So us as young people, we're calling for our dignity to be restored through the State of the Nation address. Others have master's degrees, but are sitting at home, and some are relegated to low-paying jobs despite having qualifications. It's unfair and unjust for us as young people with master's degrees to be sweeping the streets. So we need more impactful and more intentional approach towards those issues. Entrepreneurship opportunities in some industries like mining and energy, young people are not included in the table, DP. We're being given the crumbs of the bread and not while we deserve the actual bread. And that is why we're willing to disrupt the table, rebuild the table, and redefine the table manners if we're not being given a space in that table. DP, as young women in this country, we continue to face prevalence of violence. Young women are being violated in our communities, as well as lack of skills among other young people. And that is why, as the NYDA, we're calling for a skills revolution in the country, so that young people are reskilled for the relevant sectors and others are provided with the necessary skills. This year also carries profound historical weight for us as young people and us as an agency, as we mark 50 years since the 1976 Soweto uprising, where young people confronted injustice with courage and clarity. We mark 30 years since the finalization of our constitution, which enshrined dignity, equality, and freedom as binding commitments. And we also mark 70 years since women marched to the union buildings, reminding us that freedom has always been advanced by the courage of women. DP, those are not isolated adversaries. They tell one continuous story that freedom in South Africa has always been pushed forward by us, young people, and defended by women, and secured through collective struggle. And so when we say freedom lives in every generation, we're not sloganeering. It is a reminder that freedom is not inherited automatically. It must be renewed through action. And it's the action, DP, that we want and demand as young people as we're going to the State of the Nation address. Also, what we need, DP, is our dignity being protected through policy and defended through delivery. That is why us as young people, we're tired of talk shows as young people. We want delivery through action. As we reflect today, it is important to also acknowledge some of the strides that the 7th administration has done. But we still say, DP, us as young people want more from what we have been given. As I close, Program Director, this particular engagement of today creates an opportunity for us as young people to get to hear our stories being reflected in the State of the Nation address, but it's also an opportunity to reflect on how the state, working with its partners, can better support young entrepreneurs operating in hostile environments. And as young people today, as we're going to be engaging the President, we do so mindful of this weight of this particular moment that we're existing in. The words of Panashe Chukumadzi remind us that history is not behind us. It is asking us what we will do with it. We're also reminded of the famous words of Frantz Fanon, who said, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, define its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. And as this generation, DP, we are going to fulfill our mission, our generational mission. And our mission is clear. We're calling for skills of revolution, but at the same time, we're calling for economic freedom in our generation. I thank you.
Thank you very much to the Executive Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency for those inspiring remarks. And so, ladies and gentlemen, fellow young people, that is why we are here today. Young people are here to certainly claim their place in the future of this country. And of course, we have the great opportunity to engage with His Excellency, the Deputy President, Paul Mashatile, in that particular discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, for those who might not be aware, the National Youth Development Agency is at the center of government. It falls within a ministry in the presidency responsible for women, youth, and persons with disabilities. And of course, today we are honored to have the executive authority, the Minister, Honorable Minister Chikunga, to be present here today to really give us an address as we are about to deliberate with His Excellency Deputy President. May we please give Honorable Minister Chikunga a very warm round of applause. Welcome, Minister.
Thank you very much, Program Director, who is also our CEO of the National Youth Development Agency, Mr. Ndumiso Kbega, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, His Excellency, Mr. Paul Mashatile, Deputy Minister of the Department of Public Service and Administration, Ms. Pigikekane, MPs and MPLs that are here with us, Councillor Kutsi, who welcomed us on behalf of the Mayor of the city, Local Councillor Ward 1997, Mkuntswana Mida, and other councillors that are here, Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, Dr. Sanshani Miende, as well as the Deputy Chairperson, Mr. Bonga Makanya, and all members of the NYDA board that are here present with us, leaders of state-owned enterprises and public institutions, representatives of provincial, local, and national government, our partners from the private sector, civil society, academia, and development community, NYDA beneficiaries, but most importantly, the young people of South Africa that are gathered here in Khayelitsha and also are joining us through various media platforms. Uzoithola kanjani? Uzoithola kanjani? Ungayi esikoleni? Ayeye bantu abasha, ayeye. Tata, Deputy President Mashatile Tata. Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy President, for joining young people this afternoon here in Khayelitsha, as part, of course, of the building up to the State of the Nation address. Your presence once again affirms the importance that the presidency places on listening directly to young people as we reflect on the state of the nation and shape the path ahead. Over the years, the presidential youth engagements have become an important platform for dialogue between the head of state and young people, affirming that the voices, experiences, and the ideas of youth must inform how we assess our progress and define our future direction. As President Oliver Tambo reminded us, he said, I quote him, "A country that does not value its youth does not deserve its future," unquote. Engagements such as this give practical meaning to that principle, recognizing young people not as passive recipients of decisions, but as active citizens shaping the path ahead. I also wish to commend the National Youth Development Agency, NYDA, for once again convening this platform for open and meaningful engagement between young people and the state. The timing of this engagement is especially significant as it takes place at the start of the year 2026, as it has been said, marking the Golden Jubilee, that is 50 years since the 1976 Youth Uprising. A decisive moment when young people rose in direct opposition to an education system that was deliberately engineered to produce inequality, control knowledge, and prepare Black youth for permanent subordination in the economy and society. As we approach this important milestone, the legacy of 1976 is not about remembrance alone, but about confronting the structural realities that continue to shape the lives of young people today, and ensuring that young people remain central to shaping the priorities of our democratic state. Deputy President Mashatile, moments like this Golden Jubilee require us to be clear about the role of the state, and then and again now, and about how public policy either exclude young people or deliberately brings them into the center of economic and political life. In 1976, the apartheid state pursued a deliberate and coordinated policy framework aimed at controlling, disciplining, and excluding young people from power and the economy. It did so by enforcing Bantu education, restricting access to skills, ownership, and economic participation through job reservation and segregation training, and by criminalizing youth organizations and political expression, treating mobilization and protest as security threats rather than demographic rights. That was a state designed to exclude young people by law, by policy, and by economic structure. In 2026, that is 50 years later, the democratic state of the Republic of South Africa is pursuing the opposite projects, one of inclusion, economic participation, and shared ownership. For young people, the state is putting in place enabling legislations such as the National Youth Policy of 2030, the National Youth Development Agency Act of 2008 as amended in 2024, and the proposed South African Youth Development Bill, which will provide an overarching legal framework to ensure that youth empowerment is no longer discretionary, but coordinated, enforceable, and measurable across all spheres of government. Young people are encouraged when we publish this bill to actively engage and make inputs into the bill, because youth policies must be shaped by youth voices. The state is also reforming public procurement to open markets through the Public Procurement Act. This is now an act, Act 28 of 2024, which establishes a 40% set aside for women-owned enterprises, 30% for youth, and 7% for persons with disabilities, so that public spending becomes a lever for inclusive economic participation. This time around, the state is expanding access to higher education through publicly funded study, with over 1.1 million students currently supported through NSFAS, following its conversion from a loan scheme to a grant, ensuring that young people from poor and working class households can access universities and TVET education as a foundation for economic participation. This used not to happen. It is happening today. The state is also financing youth enterprise at scale by funding 2,500 youth-owned businesses in 2025-26 through the NYDA grant program, and supporting over 23,000 young entrepreneurs across the full enterprise pipeline. With these interventions, driving the creation and sustaining around 8,000 jobs, particularly in townships and rural areas. Today, the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities is building the South African National Service Institute, referred to as SANSI, developed in partnership with the Department of Defense to produce skilled young people for priority sectors, including digital technologies, cybersecurity, advanced manufacturing, and agriculture value chains, while building active citizenship, discipline, social cohesion, and a culture of service. We are just waiting for NSF to fund this, and then we're going to start. We are ready, we have a curriculum, we know how we're going to do it. We already have secured even the infrastructure from our tertiary institutions. The state is also scaling a structured national youth service through NYDA as a pathway into work, skills, and active citizenship through the revitalized National Youth Service, which has already registered over 48,000 young people in phase 1 and is currently expanding to recruit more than 40,000 participants, combining paid service, skills development, workplace exposure, and community contribution. The presidency is also driving large-scale youth employment through the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, supported by SA Youth MOBI, that you have seen outside there, as the national platform linking young people to jobs, placements, and pathways into work. positioning youth for the future minerals economy through the critical mineral strategy, and I invite all of you to read the strategy. It links beneficiation, localization, and skills development to create pathways into mining, processing, manufacturing, and new energy value chains, ensuring young people are active participants, not spectators in South Africa's industrial future. We're also looking at ensuring that young people who are trained in maritime, they get opportunity of being employed. We have worked, also engaged the shipping companies to say to them, please employ our seafarers. And they've said one thing to us, that many of them are trained, but their training may not speak to what we need as shipping companies. And we therefore have said to them, we want you to participate in the curriculums that were developed by our tertiary institutions so that you have a word. They told us that things such as maritime ethics may be very important for them as shipping companies. And that is what we are finalizing. As a matter of fact, if we had funds, we would be sending our seafarers to Philippines to be trained there. They only said to us it's 188,000 rand for 3 months to train a seafarer and make them, in fact, link them to work. And that is what we are trying to get so that many of our seafarers can get that. That being said, while government has put in place a broad architecture of policy, legislation, and programs to advance youth inclusion, the reality remains that youth unemployment, as well as the need that is neither in education, employment, or training levels, are still unacceptably high, even as the structure of the economy and the nature of work are changing at unprecedented speed. This gap between the opportunity and access is precisely why the Golden Jubilee of 1976 cannot be commemorative alone. It must be forward-looking and, of course, interventionist. Deputy President Mashatile, in marking the Golden Jubilee of the 1976 Youth Uprising, the government has chosen action over long speeches and symbolism. Under the theme, Reset at 50, for freedom lives in every generation, we are advancing the digital economy youth empowerment program that we refer to as DEP. Digital Economy Youth Empowerment Program, DEP, as a concrete response to the realities facing young people today. DEP is a 24-month national program led by the Department of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities in partnership with an international digital training program called The Code, amongst others. It is designed to equip young people with future-facing digital skills and real pathways into economic participation. This program flows from a partnership that we secured and was secured by our department on the sideline of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, to which we were invited by the President to accompany him in 2025. And it is translating global engagement into national opportunity. Across the United Nations system, there is a clear call to action from UNICEF's Generation Unlimited to UNESCO's Global Digital Learning Agenda to international commitments to equip hundreds of millions of young people with digital skills by 2030. As a matter of fact, UN has said at least we must equip 1 billion young people. South Africa's contribution through DEP is clear and measurable. Through this program, 600,000 young people across all 9 provinces, that is from urban or in townships and rural communities, will be registered and trained in coding, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, robotics, and digital entrepreneurship. As we do this, as the President has emphasized, we will be linking them to job. So this is worth $9,000 per trainee, but we're going to have it for free. We are on the move. We would want to have young people being also trained or participating. 6,000 young people represents approximately 13% of South Africa's estimated 4.5 million young people who are not in employment, education, or training. And this makes DEP a deliberate structural response to exclusion in a rapidly digitizing economy. Government has already begun building digital economy pathways for young people. Just last year, through the Last Mile Delivery Program, the NYDA, in partnership with Transport Education and Training Authority, that is TITA, trained young people in digital logistics and platform-based work, equipped them with driving licenses for scooters, smart devices, and electric motorbikes, and secured their absorption into the delivery sector through Take a Lot. I was in Durban. We handed over those motorbikes, we handed over those cell phones, and of course the stipend that will support them, and we linked them to work. Before the end of the day, somebody was saying, I've delivered my first parcel from Spa to wherever. It is therefore happening so that we are able to disrupt that sector, so that our young people from South Africa can also participate. And we believe this is one other project that we'll want to take forward. Also, ahead of the State of the Nation address as the Ministry in the Presidency of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, we have taken a bold step to enter into a strategic delivery partnership between the department and the Empower Works, to fast-track department and Empower Works, to fast-track the presidency priority, moving youth unemployment from the margins into, of course, sustainable jobs. This is a company, Deputy President, we are no longer going to be crying. So it's not a crying spree. We have agreed that they will be going out to look for funding for us. They are already doing it, so that we can fund projects that aim to empower young people. And already a lot is happening. We have strategic partnership, which is driven by 3 flagship interventions. One, the Empower Women, Empower Youth, Empower Him for young boys, and Empower Men. So we're not leaving our men behind. We will, in those sectors, be including persons with disabilities as well, as part also of our legacy project for the G20 Empowerment of Women Working Group. We have said we are going to establish a NEF center for persons with disabilities. So in all these projects, we are not leaving behind our persons with disabilities, because we definitely want to empower them as well. Already we have agreed that we're going to have an Indaba where we are not going to be talking stories. We're going to have something like Rough on the Road. It will be young people on the road where you go out. If you need a license, you can get it if you want to apply. So we're going to have that working together with this. They've promised us that we can actually have more than 5,000 young people in one area. But also we'll be looking at ensuring that young people are awarded, those who are going to lead, starting from government to private sector. Those that are going to lead in empowering young people, we are going to reward them. So it's a relationship that we believe has a potential to disrupt this young people unemployment that keeps us awake at night, particularly those that are coming from tertiary institutions. And Deputy President, it is our strong view, and we are happy that the experience requirement for entrance work has now been removed. But we are now further saying, you have given us a hand. We want you to give us an arm as well, or even the body for that matter. If a young person has a master's degree, and the requirement for the job is a master's degree, irrespective of the level, they must be given a chance to apply. Because the challenge for them today is that they are sitting at home without experience. but they are highly qualified. When they apply for entrance job, they are not even shortlisted because they are overqualified for the entrance job. When they apply for the senior job, they are not shortlisted because they don't qualify for the senior job, they don't have the experience. When they hide their qualifications, and during the interviews, they have to tell the truth that I have a master's degree and I'm applying for this entrance job, they are then disqualified for misleading and not telling the truth. So they are neither, they are unemployable, highly qualified. We are saying if they have the qualifications, they will gain the employment at work. Let's give them a chance, whether it is the assistant director position or whatever. Let's give them a job as any other person. As we commemorate the Golden Jubilee throughout this year and crisscrossing the country, we will be registering young people into this program, ensuring that no community is left behind. At the same time, we will be challenging premiers to unlock skills, placements, and economic opportunities in their provinces so that by June 16, 2026, this moment leaves behind measurable impact, not memory. As a matter of fact, even departments will be competing to say how many young people have you employed. Government, the provinces will be competing. The private sector, we will be meeting CEOs of our banks, CEOs of our state-owned companies to say what is your plan and where are these young people. If it goes according to me, at some stage we'll then say, because you say you have empowered them, we want all of them coming to one area so that we can greet them and shake their hands, so that we don't talk young people that are empowered, but we don't even know as to where they are. We want to meet them. And therefore, as I close, Program Director, as we reflect on 50 years since the youth of 1976 changed the course of our history, we are reminded that every generation is called to confront the conditions of its time. From education in 1976 to fees must fall in 2015-16 to digital inclusion in 2026. The task before us now is different in form, but no less urgent in purpose. To the young people gathered here in Kaelicha and across the country, your country sees you, is investing in you, and is calling on you to step forward, to register, to participate, and to help shape the economy and society you are inheriting. Together, let us ensure that when history looks back on this generation, it will say that we did not retreat from the future. We prepared for it, we owned it, and we built it. In South Africa, in its history, it is only now where we have young people that are in the majority are educated. This is because of the NSFAS and the investment that has gone into our young people. So we have the highest number of young people that are educated, and that is good for South Africa. What we now need to do is to ensure that those educated young people find a way of being actively participants in the economy and growing the economy of South Africa. Once again, we thank His Excellency Deputy President Mashatile for joining young people this afternoon, and we commend the National Youth Development Agency for convening this important platform, and I wish us all fruitful and constructive engagement, and I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. Halala, Minister, halala. Malibongwe. Igama lamakhosikazi. Thank you very much to the Honorable Minister, Minister Chikunga. Ladies and gentlemen, now we're getting into the part where we're engaging the Deputy President of the country, His Excellency. But of course, I would like to leave you in the more than capable hands of the moderator of the session, Ms. Buhle Keleba, who will be then facilitating what would be a three-part conversation. In the first part would be an engagement with His Excellency and of course some of the panel members. In the second part, engagement with young people across the floor and those that are joining us virtually. And in the third part we would then have a round or an overview from His Excellency Deputy President Mashatile. But I'm not here for that. We have a more than capable person to do that. And so for this particular segment, I would like to welcome on stage the following panel members in this respect. First, may I kindly welcome the Executive Chairperson of the National Youth Development Agency, Dr. Sunshine Miende, with a warm round of applause. There we go. Wonderful. Followed by the Executive Chairperson, we would like to welcome brilliant young people who are doing amazing things. And I'm sure can employ one of us one of these days. The first one is Noncha Putuma, who is the owner of SV Solutions, which is, of course, I think Noncha will tell you more about it. Can we please welcome Noncha on stage? Where is Noncha? Okay, as Noncha makes her way, can we also welcome Ayasanga Ben, who is from the PYEI. Ayasanga, can we please give Ayasanga a warm welcome? And of course, I think we would be waiting for Putuma to join, but as Putuma would then join, we would like to kindly rise in welcoming the Deputy President of the country, His Excellency, Deputy President Paul Mashatile, on stage. DP, welcome. A warm round of applause, please. Thank you very much. We may be seated. All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, Ms. Putuma is now joining us on stage. You can take a seat. Like any business person, always running around, finalizing last-minute things. Can we give her a warm round of applause as well, please? I will leave you in the capable hands of Ms. Buhle Keleba. Can we please give her a warm welcome?
Thank you very much, Program Director. Now the moment that we have all been waiting for, practicing our democratic right to public engagement. Manqale ngithathe lithuba ndizazise igama lami ngumhlonhlo Buhle Keleba inzwakazi yasemampondomiseni uphahla umphankomo ithole lomthwakazi. It is an absolute honor and pleasure to facilitate this important conversation with the highest seat in governance. Let me take this opportunity to stand on all of the protocol that has been observed, and let me say that we really acknowledge the presence of His Excellency, the Deputy President of our country, members of the National Executive, and most importantly, all young people that are gathered here in the room as well as online from different parts of our country. Now, today's engagement is structured as a dialogue primarily because it is an opportunity for listening, for reflecting, and most importantly, paving the way, Deputy President, in what the young people are calling for. There are many deep-seated issues within our country, in the communities, and I'm sure that some of those questions are going to be rising from the floor, and we hope that before the SONA, we will be accounted for as well as finding expression in the upcoming state of the nation. I hope the young people in this room are also ready for this robust engagement. Are we all ready in the room? Thank you. Allow me to acknowledge, seated on the stage, His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa, the National Youth Development Agency Chairperson of the Board, Dr. Sunshine Miende, and then I also have Ms. Noncha Putuma, as well as Ayasanga Ben. DP, many people around the country are quite vocal about their issues and these deep-seated issues, such as unemployment, such as the issue of the NEET group, which are young people that are neither in education, employment, or training. Now, I would like to lay down the foundation of this conversation by starting with you, Chairperson of the board, by taking us through what is the mandate of the NYDA, and for a young person who does not understand what the NYDA does, just to lay it down for young South Africans.
Chair. Thank you very much, Program Director. Greetings once again to the DP and my fellow panelists. I think all of us would know what is the mandate of the NYDA. Obvious case, NYDA has been put together or is an agency that exists because of an act that has been there. But obvious case will come from Umsobo for the Youth Commission, and there was the merger. But now that we got appointed by His Excellency, we decided to take the NYDA to another level. Over time, DP young people have complained that the NYDA is not fully fulfilling its mandate, which is the overall development of young people, from them getting jobs to them getting funding opportunities. So over time, the NYDA has been identified as an agency that exists for certain particular groups and for certain individuals in our society. When we got appointed, took a very firm decision that we're going to take the NYDA to the people, to the young people. And this is the reason why we're in Khayelitsha, we're not in some fancy hotel in Cape Town, because that's why we believe that the NYDA should fulfill its mandate, being on the ground with young people from rural areas, young people from townships, and young people that are farm dwellers. So in essence, we have taken the NYDA, the mandate of the NYDA, to its rightful owners, which is young people in township and rural areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chair. And just on that point, why is it important to have a gathering such as this before the biggest engagement in the country, which is known as the State of the Nation?
So over time, as young people, we have been kept on the sidelines of the important discussions in the country. So we thought that it's important that before the president goes and addresses the country, he first speaks to us as the majority. That's the first thing. The second thing is that as young people, the issues that you have raised, that there's issues of youth unemployment, businesses not being sufficiently funded, issues of skills development, issues of gender-based violence that as young women are facing. We thought that it's important for us to have this particular gathering so that as young people, we are heard and we're also seen, so that whatever that the government is doing, we are at the center of that. And that is why we're calling for firm approach to be taken, issues of skills revolution and issues of economic freedom as a generation.
Thank you, Chair. Now I'm going to move on to the two young people that are joining us on stage because I want us to unpack their stories. I'm going to start with you, Ayasanga. Tell us about your background, your story, and what you do in your community.
Okay, sorry. Afternoon, everyone in the building. My name is Ayasanga Ben, and I am a beneficiary for the NDYA. So for me, I started the program on 2023. After a devastating year of not finding any placement, being depressed, at home, doing nothing. And then I searched in an app, which is sayouth.mobi, and I found a program that really, really helped me, that shaped and groomed me to the person that I am today. I am able to stand and serve my community and be part of a social change due to this program. And I'm pleading to Deputy Minister to invest in programs such as these, the NYDA, because the movement of young people and the unemployment rate of young people is really extreme. And that's what's leading to the things that are happening in our communities, such as suicidal thoughts, such as GBV, substance abuse. So we're really pleading, DP, on the behalf of youth, to please do something with the unemployment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayasanga. Now, I want to move on to Kuwe Snonja. Tell us about your background and your story as a young person, as a young business owner.
Okay, thank you. First of all, I just want to say thank you for choosing my business or for choosing me as one of the business owners for this event. It's such an honor to sit amongst the Deputy President. I feel so honored. My name is Viwe Putuma, and I am the business owner of SV Bakery. My business is based in Fuleni, but before it was based in Trifsins. So the reason for starting this business, even though I was unemployed, but it was more about youth empowerment. I noticed that most of youth, they are just sitting at home with no skill. They are also unemployed. So I also saw that gap, and I decided to close it. Through this business that I have started, I have managed to employ 6 young boys and girls from my community. When I started this business, I had nothing. I decided to sell my house from Eastern Cape, but it wasn't enough for me to start this business because I needed a lot of equipment. But then I decided to buy one equipment in each. And someone from CEDA introduced me to NYDA. She told me about NYDA, and then she helped me to apply for the grant. That is when I got my grant. Then NYDA helped me with more equipment. So when I started, I was baking 20 and 40 loaves per day. But today, I'm sitting at 400 to 500 loaves per day. Another thing that I want to mention is that as a business owner, there are challenges. Even though I'm running this business and I have 6 employees, but I am still facing challenges. One of the challenges that I'm facing is the electricity. And also, I'm also facing the challenge of delivery. So today, as I'm presenting my business, I'm hoping that I can get assistance on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Viwe. I just want to go back to the both of you as young people. Viwe, you mentioned an issue around delivery. What are the challenges around delivery that you're speaking about? We understand that you are selling bread. Please take us through some of those challenges.
I recently lost a big client, which is Spa from Samora. I was supplying Samora, and then I was using my private car. So throughout this process, I lost my car due to overload. So now I'm no longer able to supply Spa, and they also can't fetch their own bread. So that is why I'm selling. It's a challenge. And I also get other clients from other areas, but I can't deliver the bread to them due to this challenge.
All right. DP, I'm going to come to you. In regard to these 2 young people and the foundation that has been laid by Dr. Miende, we can tell that there's an ecosystem in different parts of the programs that either the NYDA or the presidency is implementing. Could you kindly let us into how is government coordinating to address the issues of these young people? We heard Ayasanga saying that within their community they are trying to do the work but they are limited. We hear Uviwe saying that there's an issue around electricity in trying to make ends meet in their businesses, as well as losing big clients. So you have NYDA opening up an opportunity for innovation, but there's an issue there of scaling up, and young people have different challenges within those communities. So please, DP, take us into the strengthening relationships across government, across civil society, and the private sector to help young people.
Thank you, moderator, and very good afternoon to everybody. Well, government has got a number of programs that we are pursuing to help young people. I'm currently the chairperson of the Human Resource Development Council, where we focus on skills development. And I know it's one of the issues that young people have been raising. Now with the HRDC, we bring the private sector, we bring civil society, trade unions, and we discuss together what are priority skills for the country. And once we have agreed, we then engages universities and colleges to be able to prioritize those skills that are needed by the economy. So that's one intervention that is driven from the presidency. Then, of course, all government departments do prioritize programs to support young people in their various programs that they have. But then the president introduced what we call the Presidential Youth Intervention. I know NYDA knows very well the Presidential Youth Stimulus, Presidential Youth, the National Youth Service. All those programs are targeting young people or the youth. I think you mentioned Youth Mobi. So these programs, if young people searches, they will find these programs, and some of them give you ideas on how to start your own business. Some are about funding, and I'm glad that NYDA has been also rigorously funding programs that support young people. I know the CEO, when I was coming in, said to me, DP, we need more money so we can do more. So NYDA is doing an amazing job, and I think they do deserve more money. We know that, unemployment is quite high in the country, but even high amongst young people, and that's really our biggest concern. So the president has agreed that these programs that I'm talking about, are not going to be once off. These are programs that are going to continue into the future, funded, not just program there. These programs are funded, will be funded, and they are going to continue. So we are hoping that over the next 3 years, we'll probably double or if not triple the number of young people that we're going to assist with the Presidential Youth Intervention, the stimulus, and the National Youth Service.
Thank you, DP. DP, I think continuously when these conversations happen, what then happens is that there becomes a discord between young people as well as the government, because we find ourselves in a position where we are continuously asking these questions. Uguti, how is government going to enable young people to understand what different entities, for example, do, how the services can reach them? What would you think is the most important approach across these sectors in that coordination, DP, especially bringing it, down from a governance perspective for a young person in Khayelitsha, from a young person in deep rural areas?
Indeed, I'm sure that must be one of the challenges that we will have to look at, whether young people generally do have access to these programs wherever they are, including in rural areas, because some of these things are online, and there may be young people who have a challenge to be able to access them. So we will look at that. The good thing is that Minister Chikunga is in the presidency, and her responsibility is to support the youth. And that's one thing that we are looking at. How do we make it more accessible? I'm not sure in the house yet, do young people have access to the programs I'm talking about? You don't. So Minister, let's look into that, find a way that can make it easy. You said earlier, Ayanda, that you researched or you searched and found it, but maybe we need to make it even more accessible to say this is how you'll find these programs. I know some of the programs, already about 1 million young people have benefited from them, but there are more young people in the country, so that number must be doubled, tripled, and I'm sure access is going to be a big challenge that we must resolve quicker.
All right, thank you, DP. Before I go to the floor, Dr. Miende, DP just mentioned a very critical issue around the digital divide, which is an important conversation to have in our country. What would your call be to the telecoms companies, the private sector, in being able to bring in young people that do not have that access? Because we might take it for granted that anyone can search on their cell phone, but there's a dire need of creating that digital access for young people in township communities, in rural communities, to access those opportunities.
Thank you, Program Director. I think, DP, you've just assisted us as young people. As the NYDA, we've been making noise around the fact that data in South Africa is expensive. As young people, asiphangeli, but at the same time, we're expected to access opportunities that are available online without us having the data, DP. That is why we're lobbying for government to say that all opportunities that relate to young people, be it jobs, be it funding, when young people are accessing them, that must be zero rated, where you don't need data, DP, in order for you to access those opportunities. So be it NSFAS, DP. When applications start off NSFAS, as the board, we had our NSFAS drive. One of the challenges that we faced on the ground is that the learners were saying, asinayo data in order for us to apply and upload documents and. And when you go to KwaZulu-Natal and some areas in the Eastern Cape, even in Limpopo, there are areas where there is no network connectivity, DP. So us as young people, which means young people from the rural areas are going to be left behind in those particular opportunities. So we're really calling for the government, through your good self and the minister, that all opportunities relating to young people, funding, jobs, bursaries, when young people are accessing those opportunities, it must be zero rated, so that we're not abused in us having to buy data while we're also unemployed, DP. We really request that ICASA, through a good office, they make those particular opportunities available for us. And issues of coverage in all areas where young people are residing, we're kindly requesting for that, DP.
And then one last input. Kuweviwe, what is the situation around your trading? As you know that you have laid the foundation as well for us, how you trade. What are some of your concerns as a young business owner who has then been assisted by the agency? The question is, what are some of your concerns as a young business owner from where you are trading from? So ingxaki mhlambi ojongene nazo kule ndawo uthengisela kuyo, ingabe ujongene nengxaki ezinjani?
Beside the fact that I have a challenge of electricity and delivery, there are also some challenges that we're facing, such as the safety challenge. So recently I was visited by guys and then they demanded the protection fee. And I told them that I don't have it because I'm not baking a lot. And then they said to me, they will come back. I have to think about it because they want 1 rand in each loaf that I'm selling. So since then, they haven't come back, so I don't know. But that is one of the challenges. And also when I close my bakery, because I don't know who's going to come after me, avulepa amoshi. So that is the safety challenge that we are facing.
All right, I'm going to open up the floor and I would like to now invite the CEO and one of the floor colleagues. DP, safety is a very big issue in our country, especially for young women, and Uviwe is mentioning an issue about safety where she's trading. She has a bakery and she's not sure whether these people are going to come back or they are not going to come back. Can you please give us or a thinking process around safety and policing in order for us to protect young business owners that are trying to either scale up their businesses? What does this mean in terms of the government intervening in issues such as these? Because she has gone through the NYDA process, she is making a living, but now there's a safety element which is quite prevalent in the different communities across the board in South Africa.
Indeed, we have picked up this problem not only here in Khayelitsha, but most parts of the country, even in construction, where there are these people who come and demand money once people get contracts. The Minister of Police has a team that is looking into this. Obviously working with provinces to make sure that, people who are given contracts either by government or private sector are protected to do their work. It's something that we will keep our eyes on, because safety is one of our priorities as this current administration is highly on top of the agenda. And we are looking into it. So we just want to urge communities to work with us. Because some of the people who do these things, they are known in the community. So we want the communities to work with us. Let's strengthen community policing forum. Because we don't have enough police to be on all the streets. So the communities can help us. I've seen that in many parts of our country, that street and yard committees and CPFs have been dwindling. We need to strengthen them so that we can assist the police to be able to identify these criminals so that we can bring them to book. So we are aware of this challenge that Vuyo is raising, of people who come and demand money and protection fees, or some are called the mafia tankers, who interfere with infrastructure so that they can deliver water and charge for that. So those are the things that we are looking at.
Thank you, DP. I think it's important that now we have laid the foundation of this conversation to go to the floor. We've raised the issue of young people that are neither in education or training or employment. We've raised the issue of data within our country to really bridge the digital divide. We have touched on safety issues, and I'm told by CEO that there are young people in the crowd. I'm going to have 3 rounds of questions. I'm going to take 3 hands on the right-hand side of the room from the front, and then I'll proceed to the back, and then I'll come to the left of the room from the front, and then I'll proceed to the back. So I'm going to take 3 hands, and then we're going to close the round to give an opportunity to the DP to answer some of these questions, and then I'm going to come back to the floor to take the following round of questions. So I'm told that they are going to stand in a line. I see a hand on the right-hand side, the gentleman over there. Yes, sir, you can come through to the center of the room. Or will you go with the mic, my colleague?
Can I take the stand?
Okay, they will stand in a line. So once you raise your question, and then I've got hands in that corner as well, on the right-hand side over there. Yes, please. And then I've got this hand as well, this gentleman over here. I've taken 3 hands. For the purposes of engagement, please may we kindly identify ourselves, the organizations that we represent, your name and the organization that you represent, and pose your question to His Excellency, or for that matter as well, to the chairperson of the board of the NYDA. The mics are getting set up. I think we're ready. So, yes, you may come through.
Good day, everyone. From Presidency, greetings, NYTA, and all the organizations and initiatives. For mine is not about question, but by the way, Kageso Nyakale, all the way from Delmas and Mpumalanga. I'm here just to give a motivation. One of the NYTA agents, they said they will put me there by the program, so for motivation. Well, you can see that motorbike. I'm from Delmas, Mpumalanga. I own Tumamina Delmas Delivery. To brief you about my business, I'm proud beneficiary of National Youth Development Agency and the founder and owner of Tumamina Delivery, Delmas Delivery. Tumamina Delivery provides reliable courier services, delivery services across Delmas and surrounding areas. Our service is similar to platforms such as Take a Lot, Mr. D, and Uber Eats, with the key difference that you are not limited, we deliver everything. We deliver everything that can get inside our delivery box. As you can see, and especially in South Africa, most of this kind of business gets operated by people from outside. And we are here, the youth of South Africa, we can do that, and we are much passionate to do that. We just need an assistant from our government so that we can provide more services and be reliable and increase our increase employment and decrease unemployment rate. So I recently launched my app, which is called Tumamina Delivery app. Is available there by iStore and Play Store, which makes our service much convenient and reliable. As you can see that motorbikes, now I own 10 motorbikes, and NYTA, they funded me with my first motorbike, which was 2022, and in the space of 3 years, I was able to get assistance from other private sectors, companies, so that I can get another motorbikes. Now we've employed more than 13 young people the past years. Now I have 7 active drivers that are available and other 2 staff members that are managing our application, so that we can make sure that we provide the proper and professional service to our customers.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. By the way, I wanted to have this chance just to bring motivation to young people that it's possible. So for NYTA, it's not only about you must have patience with them so that you can get help. To me, patience, consistency, and determination make me who I am today. So I'm still eager to grow much bigger. Thank you so much.
Thank you. May we please have the second young person? Yes.
Thank you.
May we please make sure that the mic is on to our technical.
Evening, Mr. President. My name is Thokozile Qalanto, the Secretary of Kailicha Business Forum and the youngest female in the executive of Kailicha Business Forum. Mr. President, there is one department that is missing from today's event, or one minister, the Minister of Small Business Development, because all you talked about is connecting together. Why I'm saying this, there is a spaza shop program that is worth millions of rand, and the minister or the government is motivating young people to apply so that we can take back the spaza shop program, can take back the spaza shop that were created by our parents before foreign national came and took out the business model. Minister, President, you are saying that we must apply for the spaza shop program, but you are neglecting the issue of extortion in Kailicha or townships. You keep on saying that we must report this incident, but then we have SEBS. SEBS is a national security. They must make sure that they fight extortion. They must not depend on us. As Kailicha and Cape Town, we are the root of extortion. We've been being extorted for many years and a long time. How do you expect young people or our parents to be motivated when Kailicha is the root of extortion? And Minister, only 5 businesses in Kailicha under my leadership of Kailicha Business Forum applied for Ispaza Shop program and they were accepted. But then they are still afraid to implement the funding that they were received because we in Kailicha carry the cartels of extortion. We have the ringleaders in Kailicha, but people are ignoring it. Our leaders are ignoring the issue of extortions in Kailicha because development leaders are part of extortionists. And this is true. You can ask them. You can ask our people. Minister, crime in the Western Cape, in Kailicha, in Cape Town, in the Cape Flats, they are very high. All the police stations in their report, they are showing red signs. What we are calling as young people in the Western Cape, in Kailicha, we are saying, President, fire the Commission of Police Patekile. You must fire him. He has failed us as young people. That's why our businesses are failing. We can't glory a man who can't come in grounds and only come when there is a massacre. We want him to fight extortion now. Thank you, President.
Thank you, young person. Thank you, young person. All right, let's give this young person an opportunity.
Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Eletumatwa.
I think please use this mic.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Eletumatwa. I reside here in Sqalukucha Informal Settlement, just behind the local district home affairs. First things first, I would like to say I would like to ask if you can increase the budget allocation for the ward, specifically Ward 97 in sub-council 10, because there's so much little that our father can do because of the small budget that he receives, in terms of allocating to also catering for the youth as well. So I've seen in terms of his budget as well, he has a small portion for skills development, particularly towards the youth. And as well, I would like also if you can maybe in terms of assist with regarding to business skills development towards the youth here in Kailicha. And I would also want you to assist in terms of the Wi-Fi, in terms of applying with the Wi-Fi's. I've spoken to one of the guys there when I went to the first Thursdays. I told them, how about you increase the time allocation at the libraries? Because we go to the library and then you get your 30 minutes, then you go out. And then the seats are still empty. And you don't get another time to what you call go back and do your applications and stuff. So I was asking can't you perhaps increase the time so that when we apply there, we have adequate time to apply for anything that is required. Let's say jobs, skills, anything that, or even education. So yeah, that is what I wanted to say. And I also wanted to specifically tell my father here, Tata, Tata, ungasiboni sisiya kuwe. Siyacela tata. Yiya pha kuthi uqonda uba kwenzeka ntoni. Kutheni ningazi ukuthi nizofuna iinkonzo zenu. Ungasiyeki sihlale pha. Ngoba sithule akho nto sinayo because nathi asiyazi ba salifumana phi uncedo. So siyacela tata engagement ibe khona kunye nathi so that nathi in terms of nawe ukwazi ukuthi ku-ward 97 nankuya umuntu wami nansi youth yami iphuma kwezi zandla. Yeah, ndiyabulela Nkosi.
Thank you.
Sorry, the library, you were saying you need more time. Does it close this early or what's happening there with the library?
So at the library you get the access card.
Yeah.
There is a library access card. In that access card there is a computer that you are allocated to having that access card at the library access
Or
card.
that access card has limits?
No, the computer itself, in terms of using that, they give you a minimum access when you have that access card.
Yeah.
You can't go to the computer without that access card. So in that computer, they give you a specific, let's say, it's a 30-minute slot for every individual that is there. And you can't go again and request for maybe another slot so that you can finish your applications and stuff.
So you can't work for an hour?
Yes,
for
sir.
instance. Okay.
Yes, DP.
All right.
So what
I
it is to increase the time.
Okay. I think the DP has noted that issue. May I please have the third and final person for this round?
Greetings.
Thank you.
Greetings, Deputy President. Greetings, everyone. I think, DP, the first thing that we must first raise is that the reflection of the young people that are here is not a true reflection of what is happening outside the streets of Khayelitsha. Many people that did not get to have an opportunity.
Your name?
Oh, my name is Lwazi Phakade.
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 Phakade, yes, forever. So, what we're trying to say, Deputy President, is that there are many young people who would have wanted to be in this space to raise their issues to the NYDA, to raise their issues to yourself, but they are outside of the streets, smoking wunga, doing drugs because there are not enough opportunities. Looking at the expanding mandate of the NYDA, it's quite concerning to me, Deputy President, that you are giving timelines of 3 years to 5 years to increase the budget of the NYDA. If we see the work that has been done by the NYDA, seeing young people that are testifying here, that is only just a small percentage of young people that are needy in South Africa, needing the services of the NYDA. So, Deputy President, I'm here to urge you, to urge your executive to make sure that the NYDA's mandate, while it's increasing, its budget is also increased to service young people in South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you.
Deputy President, you've heard the views of the young people of South Africa, spanning from the programs that the government is communicating to young people where they are in terms of SAPs as well, the issue around crime and safety in their communities, business skills development, the digital divide. Please take us through some of the notes that you've made and response to these young people, Deputy President.
Well, the first input was from Kagiso, from Delmas. Kagiso, your story is quite impressive. I was listening to how you got assistant from NYDA, and since then you said you now have 7 other people who works with you. So I think what Kagiso was saying was he wants to motivate all of you that it can be done. If you are focused, you get this assistant. And I was listening quite attentively to you that your story is quite true, that many people who use these bikes, whether it's Uber Eats, bus letters in Linizet, are actually foreigners. So you're quite right. So we must say to our young people, these opportunities, don't look down upon them. You know, if you can get this motorbike and you are able to deliver, and then you get the second one, you employ someone else. So well done, Kagiso. Your story is very motivational to the young people here. The lady from Kailicha Business Forum, I didn't quite get your name, but you want this Paza Shop program. I will talk to Minister Stella Ndabeni, so unless Minister you want to also talk about it today, the Paza Shop program, you can come in after this, just respond to her, because it's important that we follow these programs, especially because government is funding. Minister Ndabeni has a funding for that program. And if you are finding difficult to access it, let's deal with it. Minister Chikunga is here. She can talk briefly about it. But you also raised the point that there's extortion. Yes, it's almost similar to the one you were talking about, Vuyo, where people say they want to give you protection. But it's actually protection from themselves. So these things, the extortion, protection, it's something that the Minister of Police is busy with, but I hear you don't have such confidence with our commissioners, but we'll look into that because they should be helping you. I did say that the community must work with us, must be our ears and eyes on the ground, but still police must do their work. One thing I found very successful in policing, when I was in Gauteng, I was once MEC for safety, we introduced what we call visible policing in various areas where there are police there at all times, but there's nothing that can beat working with the community. Because in South Africa, I don't think we have even more than 200,000 police, and we have more than 60 million people. So the number is still a bit low. I think 3 years ago, the president started a program of recruiting more police, but they could only take 10,000 a year. I think we did it 3 times. So we need to increase the force. But also, I think your point is important, that people must have trust in the police. Also, you can have many police in our streets, but if people don't trust them, don't feel that they have their interests at heart, it will be a big problem. So I'll talk to Minister Firoz Kachali about that as well. Increase the budget for the ward and skills development, libraries. Yes, I don't know what the library is managing. Maybe there are many people queuing to use. Maybe that's why they do that, but I don't know. Maybe somebody may answer it better. I don't know if there's somebody from that library here, but your complaint, I think it's Twatwa, was that when you go to use the library, they give you very limited time. As you are busy working, it shuts. I don't know, maybe they've got too many people wanting to use the service, but we can check that. Now that you've told us the problem, we'll have to look at what's happening to the library. I suspect that it's a library of the city. Probably belong to the city. Oh yes, Councillor Kutia, you might want to talk about it. Yeah, when I finish here, we'll give you a chance to talk about the library. Pagade says more young people are not in here, which is probably true. I'm sure CEO, you want to talk about that. How do we get these young people to these dialogues and engagements so that they can have opportunity? Pagade mentioned one of the things as they are busy with substance abuse, and maybe some of them have lost hope. So it means together with NYDA, we need to do more to reach young people. When NYDA has arrangement like this, probably there should be more people trying to come in to opportunities like this. So, CEO, I'm sure you'll talk about it. Let's start with Councillor to talk about the library. Minister, you'll also come in and